Episode 18 of this Kansas Jayhawks Dynasty journey as we face the 0-5 Houston Cougars here in a Week 6 matchup in our first Big 12 matchup here of Season 2. As you can see, both offenses have struggled this year, with the Jayhawks having one of the top passing offenses, but nearly the worst rushing offense in the country with barely any passing or rushing touchdowns. So through 5 weeks, this offense has very much struggled to get anything going consistently. And today we look to see what Jason Bean can do as he is thrusted back into the starting position with the injury to Conrad Hawley last week against the Missouri Tigers. Now, we hope to get our first Big 12 win of the season, and just like that, this Jayhawks team goes back to Kansas Stadium to face off against the Houston Cougars in a matchup that favors us heavily. Trevor Wilson will be back to return the kick as we get it underway, and he will take it very deep in the end zone, but he's going to bring it out and look for some space to get upfield, and he just barely gets back to about the 18-yard line, and there you see Velton Gardner so far this year struggling. Last week against Missouri, he had 20 carries for 42 yards. He has had a touchdown in every matchup, but he struggled to get anything else going, as on 1st and 12, Jason Bean with the 9-yard run, but he does get hit hard at the end of that, and now it's going to be a 3rd and inches here, still early on in the drive. Gardner's met in the backfield. He keeps fighting, and he falls forward for that first down. Now it's another 1st and 10 just a few plays later. Bean to the outside, and he's got Luke Grimm. Nice gain of about 20 there. 1st and 10, and the offense is already cooking. Bean takes it from under center and finds Trevor Cardell down the field, almost to the 5, probably the 6 there, and now 3rd and goal. Looking to cap off a beautiful starting drive. Jason Bean takes the snap and finds Stephen McBride in the back of the end zone with a 9-yard touchdown catch, and just like that, the Jayhawks take a 7-0 lead. But Maddox, Kopp, and company looking to strike quickly and quick on this drive. They get down the field with Nathaniel Dell, 45 yards as he got past the zone. And on the very next play, Kopp remains in the shotgun, takes the snap, and finds Keandre Street, who breaks the tackle, and he's got no one in front of him to stop him as he scampers into the end zone. 3rd and 9 now for the next Jayhawks possession. Jason Bean takes the snap, gets hit hard, and almost considered that one a fumble, but instead it's a quick 3 and out, and the Cougars get the ball right back. This time you'll see Kopp. Man comes in motion, and it's another pass out there to Carter this time, who's got a lot of space on the right side. John Carter gets 12 on the play. Now 3rd and 2. Maddox, Kopp, and this offense, they love to throw the ball in this situation. They rarely run it, but this one's deflected out of the hands of Carter as Jacoby Bryant makes a play on the ball. Now it's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 as Jason Bean gets it to the left side, but Trevor Wilson drops it on a slant play. 3rd and 7 now. Jason Bean again looking to pass it, and he's got Trevor Cardell again for a big 18-yard gain and a first down for this offense. Now it's 1st and 10. Very next play, Gardner's going to get it up the middle, and he's finally getting those legs turning. 9 on the play. Under a minute now in the first quarter, Jason Bean takes the snap, wants to go deep, and he's got a man behind the coverage, and it's caught by James Smith and into the end zone. 47-yard touchdown strike to James Smith from Jason Bean, and this offense looks electric so far today. Jason Bean tosses his 2nd touchdown of the quarter, giving him the most he's had in a single game already all year long. Maybe Jason Bean can manage coming back to be the starting quarterback, but Houston gets back on the field before the quarter ends as Kopp goes outside to CJ Goodry for a 4-yard catch. Now that's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 with 10 seconds remaining, and Kopp has to throw it away. There was pressure on each side of him. Now 2nd and 5. Jason Bean under center takes the snap, wants to throw, and he's going to find Trevor Wilson across the right side after scrambling out of the pocket there. Now it's going to be 1st and 10 as they give it to Gardner, who cuts it outside, got some great blocking, and he's got some space open and into the end zone. 35-yard touchdown run for Velton Gardner with 7:16 in the second quarter. The Jayhawks will take a 14-point lead already if they can hold on to this extra point attempt. Gardner had great blocking, and his day has been amazing so far. Just the breakout game they needed. Now it's going to be 3rd and 9 on the next Houston possession as Kopp goes outside, but Kenny Logan Jr. breaks it up, and the Jayhawks have another chance to score here, but Jason Bean gets hit hard and fumbles it in the backfield, and Houston's got a chance to get right back in this game. So you basically go from thinking about putting the bench in early to having a chance to stay in this game as CJ Goodry gets a 10-yard catch. Now that brings up a 3rd and inches. Kopp takes the snap, goes inside to Carter, and Keyshawn Carter with the 7-yard catch. Now it's 5:05 left in the second quarter. Kopp out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10, wants to throw it, but he's going to get taken down by Rich Miller and company, and the Cougars settle for a field goal on a 4th and 16, and they just barely get it down there at the bottom of the goalpost, and that brings up a 1st and 10 on the next possession. Gardner gets tripped up after a nice gain of about 7. Now 2nd and 3, Jason Bean, another play action, wants to throw, gets hit hard again, and he fumbles it. Beatles recovers it and just barely gets tripped up to save that touchdown there. The Cougars are cooking now. 3:37 remaining in the quarter as Kopp goes outside to Keandre Street for his 2nd touchdown of the day. So the Jayhawks look to get back on strike with this possession here as they've been able to get a good bit of offensive scoring out of them. But this time, Trevor Wilson has got a lot of space on the return, and he's finally going to be pushed out right around the 33-yard line. Goes as a 71-yard return, and that's exactly what they needed for this offense to get its blood rushing again. 3rd and 4 now. Jason Bean takes the snap, going deep, but it's deflected down by Donovan Mutant, and the unreliable Jacob Borsia looks for a 45-yarder, and he's going to inch it in there at the bottom. The first kick he's made of 40-plus since this series started. Now the Cougars trail by 7 once again. Kopp's going to take the snap and go outside, and it's almost intercepted by Deuce Mayberry. You've got to feel the pain for that drop. Now it's 3rd and 1. 2 minutes remain in this second quarter. Another pass by Kopp. He has to throw it away as Rich Miller once again makes the pressure there. And we're going to go right back onto the field with a 2nd and 5. Jason Bean got some pressure, looks to throw it, and he's got Mason Fairchild. We haven't heard that name in a good bit, but he's pushing defenders off of him for about 18 there. And that's his first catch of this season. Now 2nd and 9. Bean looking to go deep, and he's got Trevor Cardell. And that's the reason you haven't heard from Mason Fairchild, because Trevor Cardell has been dominant. And once again, Gardner finds the end zone with his 2nd of the day. And his day today has been exemplified with those 2 touchdown carries, giving him undoubtedly the best game of the season so far. 3rd and 10 though. Early third quarter, Kopp does go deep, but he can't find his man there. Now it's 2nd and 10 as the Jayhawks come back onto the field after forcing a punt. Jason Bean, all kinds of pressure, but he's so fast. He gets on the outside, got a lot of space down the field, and leaps out of bounds after the 23-yard run. Now it's 1st and goal. Bean looking to the end zone, and he drops it. Stephen McBride had to make a sliding attempt backwards to catch that one. Now it's 3rd and goal. Bean looking in the end zone again, and he's going to throw it inside, and it's an easy pitch and catch there for Trevor Wilson. Now 38-17 in a rout as the Cougars try to throw a screen that's intercepted by Kenny Logan Jr. You cannot make this up, and it looks like maybe the bench will come in the next couple of plays as Jason Bean finds Stephen McBride on the outside with his 2nd touchdown of the day as he redeems himself from that drop on the previous drive. This time Kopp goes on to the outside, and he's able to get a first down, but he fumbles the football, and he's not going to be able to recover it. So once again, the Jayhawks find themselves in great field position as Devin Neal, the future of this team, right up the middle into the end zone. What a way to show that you are the future starting running back of this team with a huge 19-yard rush right up the middle. And the Cougars now on a 3rd and 9. Kopp's going to go deep, and it's almost intercepted by Cameron Dabney, but another punt upcoming for this Cougars offense. They have not been able to get anything going. Ben Easters, though, is in at quarterback, a redshirt freshman, and he connects on the first pass of his college football career. Now he's going to give it to Devin Neal on the outside with great blocking all the way up the left side, and he just can't break that final tackle, but it is going to go as a 34-yard gain. Now Easters is going to go to Daniel Hishaw Jr., another redshirt freshman, for 8 yards there, 2nd and 2. Now, after that run, now we're going to go ahead to a 3rd and goal late in this 3rd quarter as he's going to give it to Devin Neal, looking for a 2nd touchdown, and he's just marked short ahead of the goal line. But 4th and goal, first play of the 4th quarter, and Ben Easters takes it himself right up the middle for the first touchdown of his young college football career. Now the Cougars do keep fighting in this game, 2nd and 4. Kopp's going to go outside to Goudry with a 13-yard catch. He quickly became the favorite target in this second half, but the Cougars offense just could not be consistently moving down the field. 1st and 10 now, though. Kopp's going to go outside to Keandre Street, who gets hit hard, but he's able to get it down to about the 6-yard line, and just like that, on 1st and goal, Walker comes in motion. Kopp looking to run it in himself, and he's going to get through the lineman there. And a 7-yard touchdown run to give them 24 on the day. Now we will look at Ben Easters again on a 2nd and 8. He's got Stephen McBride in stride for a first down there. Another big gain there. Now it is going to be 3rd and 13 as this offense really was just focusing on running the ball. Easters is going to take the snap, look to throw it, and he's got his man. This time it's the junior Golightly, who has not seen much playtime, but Tristan Golightly had a nice gain there, but it would end in a punt with about 3 minutes remaining as McCaskill takes it, and he gets hit hard. Just a 1-yard gain on the return, and just like that, the Cougars are back on the field, hoping to just get a few moral victories as Maddox Kopp looks to sling that one to Street again. Great blocking up the field, and it's going to look like Dotson has to finally bring him down at the 1-yard line. His 60-yard gain there. 3rd and goal, though, for Kopp and company. He's going to throw it and look to go to the end zone, and he's got his man, C.J. Goudry, with the first down, or with the touchdown there. Now 3rd and 4 on the ensuing Jayhawks drive. Daniel Hishaw Jr. right up the middle with a 17-yard run. Just under a minute remains now, about 45 seconds and counting on 2nd and 9 as Hishaw takes it up the middle again and gets another 9-yard run. Very productive from these backup running backs so far today. Hishaw and Neal came in dominating as Hishaw gets the first touchdown of his career as well. So today is a lot of firsts for both these teams, but most definitely for Ben Easters and Daniel Hishaw Jr., who had the performances that you would not expect from backup players. But overall, this was just a dominant performance over a team that they easily should beat, and they proved that they were more than capable of doing that as we defeated the Houston Cougars 65-31 in a rout that this offense never has seen before. And just like that, we are going to move to 3-1 on this young season with a favorable matchup against the winless West Virginia Mountaineers next week as well. Can we move to 2-0 in the Big 12? And another question is, will Houston be able to improve after their first year in the Big 12 being such a lackluster performance? We'll look into that right after this game is over, and let's see how both of these teams perform statistically wise as we dive into the in-game statistics. And just like that, what a great way to get the 3rd win of this season. We are already 2 wins away from our last year total, which was 5 wins and 7 losses. Jason Bean only attempted 21 passes, but he had 269 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 66% completion percentage, and Ben Easters only had 3 of 3, but for 47 yards. Obviously, when he came in, we were running the ball a lot more, but Velton Gardner finally had his breakout game of the season. 22, 108, 2 touchdowns, and that long 35-yard run. Similarly, Daniel Hishaw Jr. and Devin Neal both had excellent games, with Devin Neal actually ending up averaging about 9 yards per carry after 9 attempts for 78 yards and a touchdown, also getting himself a 35-yard rush early on in that third quarter. Now, Stephen McBride with 6 receptions, 87 yards and 2 touchdowns due to Luke Grimm going down early with an insignificant injury for the game. But obviously, Stephen McBride more than filled those shoes. Trevor Cardell had 4 for 92, as well as Trevor Wilson with 2 for 16 in that 1 touchdown he ended up having, as James Smith, who struggled since the week 1 matchup to find a place in the offense. Only the 1 catch, but it did go for 47 yards and a touchdown. So can you really blame him for not doing anything much else other than that? As far as defense goes, Romello Dotson had 7 tackles, 6 of them all by himself. Taylor had 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a good bit of all-around tackles. We did have Kenny Logan Jr. with the only interception of the game, and also we did have 1 forced fumble by Rich Miller, which was recovered by, it looks like, Taylor again. So overall, a great defensive effort. Jacob Borsia, 1 of 1 for 45 yards. That's all I'm excited about. He did miss the 1 extra point, but that'll be fine. And even the punter, Reese Vernon, had an above-average game, 2 attempts for 81 yards. So overall, this team played great, and that's not even to say Maddox Kopp played bad as the quarterback of the Cougars. He was 23 of 42, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Now, you do have to take into account 2 of those 3 touchdowns were late in the fourth quarter when we had our second and third string defensive team, and so you can't really consider that too much. Rushing-wise, their running back ran it 2 times all game long for 33 yards. And like I said, Keandre Street and CJ Goudry were the obvious targets for Kopp, as they had 8 catches respectively, and 63 for Goudry and a touchdown, and 193 for Street and 2 touchdowns, both coming in that 1 in the first quarter and 1 in the fourth quarter. Now, going ahead to next week, we face off against the 0-5 West Virginia Mountaineers, but a lot of ESPN people are predicting us to lose this matchup. West Virginia has probably had a favorable or an unfavorable schedule up to this point. Look at that, losing to Bama, Texas, Maryland, Toledo, and now Kansas State last week. We find ourselves in a matchup that could be considered a trap game, hoping to avoid that second loss and push ourselves to 4-1, which will put us in prime position for a bowl game. Comment down below your predictions for next week's game as we face off against West Virginia, who's 0-2 in the conference. And before we sign off for this episode, let's take a look around the country at the Heisman rankings right now, led by Chez Mellusi, the running back out of Wisconsin. He had a game last week with 17 carries for 103 yards. Next up, you've got Mayan Williams from Ohio State. 24 carries, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week. Following him up, you got Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State, who had an excellent underachieving game last week, though. 2 receptions for 30 yards and a touchdown, as well as 17 carries for 90 yards. Following him up, you've got the great Bijan Robinson for 17 carries, 99 yards, 2 catches, 14 yards, and a touchdown last week. And who else other than Sir Roderick Thompson, who dominated us last year? 21 carries, 123 yards, a touchdown, and 3 catches there. And just like that, we'll go over to the top 25 to end this video off, as the top 4 is none other than Florida, Alabama, Indiana, who just takes on Ohio State next week, Michigan, and Ohio State rounds out at the 5th spot. Now we'll go down the list. Iowa State, Georgia, Kansas State, Wisconsin, Clemson, TCU, Miami, UCF, Kentucky, Arizona State, California, LSU, Texas Tech and North Carolina. Following North Carolina, you've got USC at 20, East Carolina at 21. Great to see a small school like them up there in the rankings. NC State at 22 as they just lost to Virginia Tech. Syracuse at 23, dropping all the way down from the 10th ranked spot after a tough loss to Duke. Texas at 24 and Washington at 25. And the other teams that received votes include Boston College, Michigan State, Oregon, Utah, San Jose State, Wake Forest, Nebraska, and Notre Dame, with Utah and Oklahoma dropping out. Do you guys think if we win this game next week, we maybe jump into those top 25 rankings? I'm not sure considering how weak our schedule has been so far, but I do know that we should easily win this matchup going into West Virginia's territory and at least come out with that 4th win of the season. As I said, make sure to comment down your predictions to the score next week. Like the video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time as we take on West Virginia.